awesome.
What's going on, guys? If you're new to the channel, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you for supporting the channel. Today, if you haven't guessed it, I got myself a motorcycle dolly. Reason behind why I need a motorcycle dolly is because if you can see, the motorcycle's all the way up against these shelves. The clearance out front is very tight, same as with the rear. It's extremely tight back here. When I have a motorcycle stand on it, it's just inches away from the things surrounding it. So with having a motorcycle dolly, I could pull the bike in and out of this corner with ease if I need more room for working in the garage. If I end up painting something in the garage, I can actually take the bike out rather than throwing a drape over it. Alright, it's getting cold. Let me get the Subaru out of the garage, get some room so I can build this motorcycle dolly, and let's get to unboxing it. Alright, so I cleared up enough room where I can Austin Powers this bike out of this spot, and I'll let you guys see how difficult it is to actually get it out of this spot, and then I'll show you later on with the dolly, which I'm hoping will be a lot easier to get in and out of the spot.
Thousand years later.
Hell yeah, those burgers.
take my instrucciones for you Latin listeners, for you Latin viewers. General guidelines. Alright. Always follow directions. So let's go over what we got here. Alright, so what we got here is 2 track plates and a kickstand plate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 casters. And looks like 2 brakes or ramps. Nuts and bolts. A brace of some sort. And check out what's in there. So a lot of times when I assemble something or tear something down, I like to be organized with my hardware. I'm not the type to put random bolts and nuts in the wrong places. I like to put the bolts in the proper place, unless it's a final resort and I have to make do. But I try my best to put the bolts in the right exact place. With that, I like to lay them out on the table and organize, make sure that I have all the hardware I need before I start this project, or else I'm going to have to contact the company, or I'm going to have to end up running to the hardware store and picking up some hardware. Just a tip that I like to take myself, take the extra couple minutes, make sure you have all the hardware before you start a project, or the length of the project can turn into something that you weren't expecting in the beginning of the project. Grab my impact gun and grab my crescent wrench, grab my wrench and tighten all these down. Guys, remember, Refer to your instructions for your torque spec whenever you're tightening down fasteners, because you could end up over tightening, under tightening you can get hurt. Yeah. So tighten them down to spec just like this. All tighten down to spec. Next one. Yeah, so all the casters are all in now, and torqued down to spec. All jokes aside, guys, whenever there's bolts and hardware, they should really be tightened down to spec. These bolts are at a safe torque. Don't get me wrong, I have over 15 years of experience under my belt, so I can kind of feel when a bolt's tight. If you guys need to use a torque wrench, use the torque wrench, please. Well, enough of that. Let's keep on going because it's cold outside. The next step is to connect our 2 track plates using our connecting bars right here. This is where we're going to use our 8 long bolts. They're 55 millimeters, and they're going to join the 2 track plates together. It's a big longboard. Woo! Let's not die. Alright. So it actually says I can mount the kickstand plate in 5 different positions. I'm going to go ahead and pull the bike out of the corner and grab a tape measure to see where I should mount the kickstand plate. I am going to let the bike warm up because it hasn't been started in a couple weeks. So let that get up to temperature. Just so you guys know, the garage door is halfway cracked and open, so don't worry, I'm not going to die in here on you guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and measure the wheelbase, and I'm going to measure between the difference where the kickstand will actually be located, so I can get a rough idea. Okay, so I'm measuring a little bit past the rear wheel where it contacts the ground and a little bit past the front wheel, and I'm getting about 66 inches. Doesn't have to be perfect. And it's the kickstand's laying down at a little bit over 31.5 inches. So 31.5 inches is where I'm gonna measure my target to be at. So put about 66 inches. It's about here, and the rear wheel is gonna sit about there. So 31 and a half is gonna be right here. Pretty much smack dab in the middle. Looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my kickstand plate and mock it up here. Smack dab in the middle. Actually looks good. Okay, so smack dab in the middle is actually pretty good at its center setting. Right here. 31 inches is actually dead center. Pretty close to dead center, actually. So I'm just gonna roll with that. And if it doesn't work, then we'll do some adjustments. With the ramp gates, you can actually choose which side you want the ramp gate to be on. I chose for it to be on the right side of the bike because the kickstand tends to lean on the left side. So when these are up, it shouldn't hit anything because the bike's going to be leaning towards the other side. That's why I mounted them in that direction. But you can do that to your own preference. It doesn't tell you exactly which way to mount them. And you can choose up to 5 different locations per side to put your kickstand on, so it doesn't really matter. It's actually symmetrical once not accordance with the ramp gates. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount the kickstand plate onto this side. Like so. Tighten this down to spec as well. And there we have it. The dolly is fully assembled and it's now ready for the motorcycle to be loaded onto the dolly. She's all loaded up. That's awesome. It's really easy to maneuver now. Now for the moment of truth, I'm going to go ahead and try to place it in the corner. And there you guys can see the bike on the dolly is actually sitting a lot better. It's actually sitting a lot closer to the shelves, giving me more space in the garage, which is great and I love it. If you're wondering how much space the dolly takes up, as you can see, it just sits underneath the bike and really just takes up the same amount of space as a bike. So if you have enough room in your garage or your storage space for a motorcycle, you do have enough space to have a motorcycle dolly. I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to pull it out again. And I could just leave it like that, kick the ramps down, and I could unload the bike. I'm really happy with the product. This is a Black Widow motorcycle dolly. I'm going to put a link below, so if you guys are interested in purchasing one, you can go ahead and do that. This is not a paid sponsorship, or I'm not paid to do a review on this. I paid for this dolly with my own money. Usually if I have a long winter, I do keep the motorcycle on a triple tree stand and a rear swing arm stand. With this dolly, it keeps the tires off the cold ground, and at least it's on metal, which won't be as cold as concrete. So hopefully I won't end up with flat spots and rotting. Before I even put it in that position, I actually topped up the tires with air. I put about 50 psi in them. I think the max pressure is 60 psi. It's a little trick that we do at the dealership. So I go ahead and overinflate the tires over spec so that you can actually park the tire in one spot for a longer amount of time to prevent flat spotting. Just remember that in the summertime or when springtime riding season comes around, just remember to adjust your tire pressures accordingly to your spec or to your riding preference that you're doing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions. Comment below. Please feel free to share. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Hit that notification bell if you guys want to see future videos and more content like this. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future. Hopefully this pandemic will be over soon, and I got a whole lot of content that I have planned out once this pandemic's over. It's freezing outside. I still got to clean up, put the Subaru in the garage, put some stuff away in the shed. I am starving. So until next time.